I'm not gonna sit here and take it anymore.
So by now, I'm sure you have seen the kidnapping of the white man that was apparently disabled or mentally disabled, and the torture that ensued. Now, a lot of these videos have been removed from social media, so you're kind of having to pick apart and find them online to see the entirety of the videos. But without not even 24 hours since this happened, CNN is already back on television race baiting and implying that Donald Trump is racist. So CNN is totally shameless. And right now there's actually a conversation going around the office if it's just time to boycott CNN entirely. Even us who monitor the propaganda, just totally cut them out. But this was last night. Now, we'll see if CNN or any of the mainstream news continues to cover this. But last night, Don Lemon had a panel regarding the kidnapping, and it was pretty absurd. This is how it went.
There's certain things that I can't say that it's a hate crime because Chicago police won't say it. They're saying they're still investigating it.
So now you're going to wait until the police investigation to decide whether it's a hate crime or not. But in past instances, for example, Michael Brown, you're okay to jump on the bandwagon of that fake news. Of course, this is completely ridiculous because I can step outside and look at a blade of grass and call it a blade of grass. I don't need to go to a forensic lab to have that analyzed to determine, okay? This was clearly a hate crime by law, but we'll get into that in a moment. Let's roll to the next one.
We cannot callously go about classifying things as a hate crime. Motive here matters.
Callously classifying things is all the mainstream media does, and motive matters. They made their motive very clear in the video. Now, here's the actual law. Now, I don't necessarily agree with hate crime legislation existing, but it does, and here's the law. 18 U.S. Code 249 Hate Crime Acts. Offenses involving actual or perceived race. Whoever willfully causes bodily injury to any person or attempts to cause bodily injury to any person because of the actual or perceived race shall be imprisoned not more than 10 years, shall be imprisoned for any term of 10 years or life, a term of 10 years or life, if the offense includes kidnapping. So there's the actual law, Simone. I wonder if you took any time to read it. You did mention the motive. They made their motive clear. The law is clear. That's a hate crime. Let's roll to the next one.
And you look at the video, you're like, what is going on? What on earth? Why would anybody ever think that it was okay to treat another person like that for any reason?
What is going on here is that you have been fomenting racial division in this country. Barack Obama has been fomenting racial division in this country, and you continue to do it to this day. And even literally today, even after these events. And Lemon said in this segment that all hate crimes are motivated actually by stupidity. Well, weren't you the ones saying that the Trump supporters were the stupid voters? I guess that's not the case. Again, you were wrong. Let's roll to the next one.
You just try to wrap your head around evil. That's what this is. It's evil. It's brutality. It's man's inhumanity to man. And
I don't think it's evil. I don't think it's evil. I think these are young people, and I think they have bad home training.
Hold on. Did I hear that right? Don Lemon doesn't think this is evil? He doesn't think this is evil. He thinks they have bad home training. Yes, I'm sure, who knows? We'll get into the whole parents thing later. But you know what I would attribute this to? Democratic-run inner cities and Democratic-run education programs. That's what I would accredit this to. But Don Lemon doesn't think that it's evil. Wow. Let's roll to the next one.
I just want to remind folks that we cannot sit here and ignore that for at least for the last year, on very public display, the worst parts of America have been brought from the fringe into the mainstream. So that affects people on both sides. We've talked about white nationalists and white supremacists and the KKK, but there are also when this inflammatory rhetoric is out there, when someone is repeatedly telling you that your community is the worst of the worst, it brings out the worst of the worst in people.
And that's all you've done. That's literally what you continue to do to this day. It's unbelievable. And what is the worst of the worst? What's the worst of the worst that you've seen from Trump supporters? Remember what Hillary said When they go low, we go high. How do you feel about that? Let's roll to the next one.
Let me just say this. These young people probably never watch the news. Probably have no idea,
I don't think that's
really.
fair. I really don't think that's
probably
fair.
have
Y'all
no
have to
idea,
give, y'all
really,
have to give
who
young people in
Donald
this country
Trump
more
is.
credit than that is.
No idea,
Everybody knows
really,
who
the
Donald
political.
Trump is.
And at the end there, she says, this is Simone. She says, everybody knows who Donald Trump is. Again, insinuating that Donald Trump is racist, fomenting the racial division. And okay, so maybe they're not getting this stuff from the news. I would say they are, but then where else would they be getting it? What about MTV? Remember that video? Huh, I wonder how those jackasses feel. Let's roll to the next one.
I am very hesitant to cast these young people as folks who come from broken homes. For all we know, they have a mother and a father who work very good, hardworking jobs, who have instilled or tried to instill good moral values in them, and the young people just aren't listening. So I think, one, we need more facts, and I think, two, we have to be careful to cast our young people, particularly our young people of color, to the side.
So again, she's trying to play identity politics, racially divide. And you know what? We'll see. I don't know anything about these kids' parents. Whatever morals they tried to instill obviously didn't sink in, but we don't know. I don't know the situation of these kids' parents. I don't know the situation of their schools, but we can see clearly that these kids had very low morals. And if they had parents that were going to scold them or discipline them when they went home, I don't think they would have done this, but I guess we'll find out. Let's roll to the next one.
But we also have to have an elevated conversation about the surroundings and the things that our young people are dealing with every day and the images that they're seeing. They might not watch the news, but they're on Twitter where the president-elect is. They're on Facebook. They're listening to the Breakfast Club. They're listening to the radio. And all of these nasty, nasty things that we've talked about, that we've witnessed over the last year, they have seeped into our children. They are in our schools.
See, she's just vaguely trying to blame Trump, blame racism, but she has to keep it vague. You know why? Because she has no examples. Zero examples given by this blowhard about racism the entire time. Let's roll to the next one.
If you had white teens who had tortured and brutalized an African-American young man, and those white teens had talked about Obama and had been laughing, I don't think we would be having a conversation about how, oh, our political discourse is so toxic, and, maybe these kids saw things on Twitter about Obama.
No, we would probably be witnessing riots in the cities, and the mainstream media would be fomenting that, wouldn't they? They'd be having their cameras there, justifying it, just like they always do. And Simone, I'm sure, would be right along on those railroad tracks, too. But it's amazing. Again, they want to blame Trump, they want to blame police, they want to blame white people, and then when these collisions and the violence actually takes place, where are they to take the blame? Nowhere. They're there to just dish it out again. Let's roll to the next one.
Relationship of black people to America is very different than the relationship of white people to America. We're talking about, years, 200 plus years of slavery, 87 plus years of Jim Crow. And I'm not making excuses for these things, but
and I'm not here to play racial politics, but you are clearly making excuses. But so what is that? How does that justify any of this? First of all, it's completely ridiculous that she's up here using slavery as an argument in this debate. But then still, how does that justify any of this? So you're trying to justify this? This is total virtue signaling. This is another fallback of the social justice warriors when they have no example of the point they're trying to make. Let's roll to the next one.
We can't boil it down to, someone saying something disparaging about the first black president of the United States of America
Half
when
black.
the current president-elect questioned his authenticity as an American.
He's half black and his birth certificate is officially a forgery. Let's roll to the next one.
Donald Trump bears some of the blame for that in a way that another Republican candidate, another Republican president wouldn't have, because of some of the frankly racist things that he's done.
See, and this whole conversation is predicated on Donald Trump being a racist, Donald Trump doing racist things, Donald Trump supporters being white nationalists that have taken over the country, but they don't give one example. And what is the whole panel actually supposed to be covering? A white guy that gets assaulted, kidnapped, and tortured because he's white. Does he even admit he's a Trump supporter? Was he even a Trump supporter? I don't know. Who knows? That's the thing. But they're on here virtue signaling and telling you that Trump is racist. I mean, I seriously, CNN has officially gone lower. I can't believe that this is true, but it is. CNN has now gone lower than Jaco in Atlanta in a fake studio claiming he was getting bombed in Iraq. They are now lower than that, fomenting more racial division in this country after an attack that I think the blame falls squarely on them. They're going to continue to try to foment racial division. So here's the final word from Simone.
We don't know if it's a hate crime.
Okay.
That is very
Peter, you're not usually this quiet.
No, we do know it's a hate crime. You're going to be wrong again.
You think our information's hardcore? You think our focus is brutal? Try our nutraceuticals. Try our supplements. We've taken Brain Force and made it Brain Force Plus. Now with 20% more in the bottle and an even more hardcore formula. You owe it to yourself to get these products. They really have worked for myself, my family. They have 5-star reviews by the thousands. Secure your Brain Force Plus today at InfoWarsLife.com. Now 20% stronger. Again, InfoWarsLife.com.